Good evening and welcome to our regular council meeting. I'd like to begin the meeting by acknowledging that we are in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Robinson-Huron Treaty area and wish to recognize the neighboring community of Dokis First Nation. While we meet today, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their culture. From coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. And so I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda. Willie and Dean? All those in favor? Thank you. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest tonight? Seeing none. There are no delegations tonight. So we'll get into reports for consideration. And tonight, what I'm going to do, council, to accommodate our staff, I direct you to go to 6.5.2, Andrea's reports, and 6.1, and then we'll do Jason's report right after. So Andrea, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, so I'll be reporting on both the bylaw and building report this evening. So we'll start with third quarter bylaw. There is some information about training that was taken by the bylaw officers in the third quarter. You'll note that our complaints are similar this year to what we've seen in past years. The biggest thing that I wanted to discuss with council this evening, beyond any questions about those portions of the report, are that we've gotten interest from the other three member municipalities of SEBS to survey residents about the possibility of having a backyard hen allowance, backyard hen bylaw. It's been pushed by the public in the other, in at least two municipalities. It's been adopted as a good idea to gauge public interest within one municipality. And we did historically have a conversation with a past council about this back in 2021, where there was interest in gauging public opinion. Because we are a shared service and because we're looking to put this survey out in the other three member municipalities, we wanted to put it to council to see if French River would be interested in knowing this information from their residents. I will let you know that we'd be gauging interest on not only do you think backyard hens would be a good idea, but do you think it should be attached to specific zonings like waterfront residential, and residential rural? Whether size of property matters to the residents, and basically trying to come up with a limit and any concerns that people would have about allowing this type of action. We are seeing these types of bylaws coming forward from other municipalities. I believe West Nipissing did pass it. I think it's finalized, their backyard hen bylaw. So with all of that information and with the fact that we are going to be bringing this survey forward with the other three municipalities, we wanted to gauge council's interest in getting involved. So I'll open that up to council.
Any comments? Sure, Will.
Through you, Madam Mayor. I think it's a great idea that we investigate and look into this. I've had a lot of conversation with constituents expressing their desire to have this ability to do that. So it's nice to see that we're moving forward on this. Thank you.
Dean?
On Dry Pine Bay Road, there is a resident with a chicken coop already with hens in the backyard. I don't know whether they had a permit or applied or asked for a permit or permission or not, but they've been a couple of years now with that and a little hen. I think it's just a little thing in the back, and they probably got about 15 or 20 hens or something.
Bob?
No, getting information on a survey like this will maybe open our eyes and maybe help us in a yes or a no. So
Dave?
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be much cost since the survey's already done, the work's already done, it's just to send them out, so I don't see a reason why not to send out the survey.
How would we do the survey? Are we talking?
Do you have a answer to that?
Thank you, through you. We produced a survey on SurveyMonkey, and we will also be providing hard copies. So hard copies will be available probably at libraries and municipal offices. SurveyMonkey will be available through a link, similar to how we've done other surveys in the past for the municipality. So we would be promoting it through posters on the website and in different municipal buildings.
Thank you.
good idea.
Yeah, nothing wrong with getting information. So.
Were there any other questions about the bylaw report, I suppose?
He can't hear anything. So he's still not able to hear. He's not going to hear anything. I'm just going to tell him to reboot one more time and see. All right.
So, thank you. So I will also report on the building report.
Yep.
Once I find it.
So that's 6.6.1.
Okay, so really not much to report of note for Q3. Thank you. There was some training done by the CBO who attended chapter meetings in Sudbury and also in London for our annual OBOA conference. There are going to be big changes to the building code coming in 2025 to align more closely with the national building code. So we're taking every training that we can get to be prepared for those changes. And we'll be looking to put some information on websites too, to let local builders know what changes we're going to be expecting. The only other thing really of note, our permit numbers are fairly in line with what we've seen in the past. If anyone's wondering why our building fees are really similar to last year, even though our cost of construction is so high, the seniors complex, which was the biggest part of that increase in cost of construction, is considered a municipal project, and we don't charge building permits on municipal projects. So I just wanted to point that out to council as we were going through the report. And then also not much to report as far as short-term rentals and travel trailers. We are still working with a few final applications that will probably be issued in 2025 since the rental season is completed for this year for the most part. And council will be seeing more detailed reporting on the program at the end of this year. So I'll open up to questions from council now.
Any questions from council? Seeing none, thank you very much, Andrea, for both reports.
Thank you.
And now I think Roger's going to try to come back on. We'll move to the Recreation and Community Service Report, which is 6.4.1. Jason?
Through you, Madam Mayor, thank you. I'm not going to bore you with too much of the numbers there. So if you have any questions at the end, we can go through that. Some of the key highlights of what this quarter is: JC Park bathrooms were completed. The beach accessibility pathway and swing also completed. The annual family baseball tournament occurred in August, and the start of hockey season in the month of September. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Again, Jason, I want to say thank you for all the work you did, Joe Chateau Park, for the bathrooms. Those bathrooms are absolutely wonderful. And the beach, yay, the swing is on. And there were still people yesterday at the beach, which I couldn't believe there. I thought, brr. But so all these improvements have really helped. So thank you very much. Any questions for Jason? All right, thank you, Jason. All right, so we'll move on to general government and 6.1.1, the quarterly report by the clerk's office.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. So I'll highlight just a few items of my my report, and if there's any questions, let me know. So I just wanted to highlight we are reviewing the fees and related charges bylaw, which incorporates all the fees and charges for all services and programs that the municipality offers through all our departments. In addition to our annual review, so we review pretty much all the fees just to verify if they're in line, if they're being used and whatnot. But this year we're due for a full evaluation of our hall rental fees. Okay, I'm just gonna let Roger in. Hopefully he can hear us and we can hear him. So we're doing a full review of our hall rentals and ice time fees. In our current fees and related charges bylaw, we had established the fees for the past 3 winter seasons. So now in the bylaw so we don't have any fees established for this upcoming season because they're all due for review. And at the same time, we're looking at, so there's a lot of fees in there that we don't actually use. They don't reflect the services that were offered. So Jason and I are going through them all and going to be recommending changes to council. And as we do that, we need to review, we have a 2017 dated Parks Recreation Facilities Policy. Obviously, it's very dated. The majority of the policy no longer reflects current practices. We need to update language, rules, procedures, add that the beach exists, the upgrades to Joe Park, and some things that we'll recommend to council to consider. So that we're working on that now. We're hoping to bring that to the next council meeting. We have already started. So we're hoping to be ready for November 6th. Other than that I'd like to report is, I'm not sure if you've set your calendars for Volunteer Appreciation Night, which is scheduled for December 11th at 6:30 at the Albin Community Center. So planning is underway. So based on discussions and successes from last year, we're proposing that we use the same format to not, because we had established a volunteer recognition policy, which had established criteria to nominate volunteers throughout the municipality on certain aspects, on culture, on types of volunteerism. But last year we had just honored all the volunteers in our municipality, and which was, I think it was a great success, and I think we want to continue doing it that way.
Yeah, I agree. It went over so well last year, and I just find it difficult to honor 5 or 6 people when you have a whole community that is the life and the breath of the community. So I thought last year's was fantastic. So I'm glad we're continuing on that way.
Yes.
So are we going to have to repeal?
So I
policy?
am probably going to bring that policy to council to have
Okay.
it quashed, repealed,
Yeah,
taken out.
okay.
Because it's no longer, if we're not going to reflect it,
No.
might have it on the books. So we will be starting our invitations to groups and organizations in our area that volunteer in our municipality. There's going to be invitations to specific people. And we'll probably send that list to council to make sure that we're not missing anybody,
Okay,
because we'll probably be asking for RSVPs just so we can ensure that we have enough
hmm,
wine and snacking foods for everybody.
for sure.
And then later on in the agenda, we're declaring the event as a community event in order to apply for the liquor license.
Okay,
So that's it for that report. If there's any questions.
any questions? Willie?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I just, a question, municipal drains.
Yeah.
I noticed there's a topic in there for that. Was it always in there, or this is the first time we're seeing this?
It has historically always been in my report. But the daily tasks had been taken over by Public Works, so Michelle. So I've taken back those like the daily operations of it. So I'm gonna be including it back into my report and keeping council updated on what's going on.
I would like to say I really appreciate seeing this in this format now. It keeps
Okay.
me abreast of what's going on. So thank you very much.
Good. So we have, so for past billing, we have sent, so there might be some phone calls from landowners, pass them on to me. I will gladly inform them and help them out. We did send out letters just for outstanding amounts, just to get that all cleaned up before year end.
Any other questions regarding the clerk's report? Seeing none, then we'll proceed to 6.1.2. So we have a bylaw to enact the Integrity Commissioner Services Agreement again. So that's something we do on a yearly basis or every 2 years.
Through you, Madam Chair. So actually the first agreement, so in 2018, council appointed, that's when Bill 68, I'll say, came into effect. Having municipalities appointing integrity commissioners. So in 2018, we appointed Tony Fleming from Cunningham Swan as our integrity commissioner. And just for everybody's information, the public, the integrity commissioner is an independent and impartial position reporting directly to council and whose powers and duties are set out in the Municipal Act. The integrity commissioner is responsible for oversight of the code of conduct for members of council and providing advice to members of council. Issuing interpretations and reports, investigating complaints and where necessary, recommending sanctions. So on an annual basis, they do report to council and we do accept his report on an annual basis. Usually it's in January, February reporting on the past year. So the service agreement was for a 5-year term with the option to renew for an additional 2 years. So this is what I'm recommending to council to exercise our right to renew it for another 2 years. So it would, and actually it would end in 2016. 2026. Yes, thank you.
Any questions with regards to the agreement? Okay, I need a mover and a
Yeah.
seconder. Bob and Willie. Oops.
So it is duly moved and seconded that bylaw 2024-39 being a bylaw to authorize an extension agreement for integrity commissioner services be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? Thank you. Now we move on to the 6.1.3, the bylaw to establish property standards and bylaw appeals committee. I'll turn it over to you, Madam Clerk.
So the municipality has adopted regulatory bylaws that provide a right to appeal decisions of a municipal law enforcement officer, so municipal administrative officials. We currently have 2 existing bylaws that provide a right to appeal orders. So first, the property standards bylaw, which is a bylaw that sets out standards to ensure that property owners maintain their properties within the community and regulate items of safety and general upkeep of properties and buildings. So the owner of the property that receives an order made under the Ontario Building Code for violating the bylaw has the right to submit a notice of appeal if they are not satisfied with the terms of the order. So this bylaw had established an appeal committee. Now we have adopted the responsible animal ownership bylaw, where an owner of a vicious dog who has been served with a notice of their dog being deemed to be a vicious dog may appeal that decision or the terms of that order. So for this bylaw, the appeal provision was established in the bylaw without establishing the appeal committee, because at the time I had the intention of bringing this to council back then. We're just getting to it. So, so this report recommends to council, oh, someone's trying to get it, sorry. So the bylaw in terms of reference being presented to you this evening is to combine both appeal provisions into one committee. So appeals for an order under the property standards or an appeal under the responsible animal ownership would be presented to the same appeal committee. Okay? So instead of having two appeal committees, most municipalities have combined it together to have the same people dealing with appeals. So an appeal committee is a quasi judicial body that hears appeals of bylaws and can confirm, reject, or amend decisions and orders. The decisions of this committee are final, although there is a right for judicial review. They can appeal to the court. Okay, so I did mention, so it was, since the beginning of this term, it was the intent to establish this combined committee. That's it. If there's any other questions.
Yeah, I want to thank you for clarifying it for me because I was thinking more amps than I was thinking orders, and that's had me
Very different.
completely confused. Like I said, probably had something to do with the amount of turkey I had over the weekend there when I read it. But anyway, thank you for clarifying it. And yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Billy?
I too would like to say thank you, and it wasn't the turkey with me, but I definitely was not clear as I am now with respects to what was going on. So thank you for that background. I
Okay,
really
good.
appreciate that.
No problem.
Any other comments, questions?
So the
Seeing-
appeal committee, sorry, so I
Yeah.
did mention in my email to council, so the appeal committee was appointed at the beginning of this term. It's just they have not had any appeals, any reason to meet.
Bob?
You will notify the committee that they have added responsibilities, even though there hasn't been anything?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, don't go away, right? Any other comments? Seeing none, I need a mover and a seconder. Dave and Dean?
So be it resolved that bylaw 2024-43 being a bylaw to establish the property standards and bylaw appeal committee and its terms of reference be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. All those in favor, thank
Thank
you. It's as if you guys can read my mind. Okay, let's move on. We have a resolution to declare Volunteer Appreciation Night as being a municipal event of significance. So I need a mover and a seconder, Bob and Dave.
So moved and seconded, be it resolved that council declares the Volunteer Appreciation Night being held December 11th, 2024 as a community event of municipal significance.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. There is no 6.3, 6.4. We've already done the recreation one. And now we're at 6.5.1. So there's a bylaw to enact the 911 primary public safety answering point. Give it to you.
Madam Chair? Yes, so the objective of this report is to enter into a primary public safety answering point services agreement with the Ontario Provincial Police. So the OPP have delivered emergency dispatching services, so this is dispatching services. So when you call 911, it goes to the community service center in North Bay where they dispatch to fire, ambulance, police. You got it. So we've had this agreement with OPP since 2002. So prior to that, services were provided directly through Bell Canada. Bell Canada still has the responsibility of holding that data. So when the municipality creates a new civic address, we submit it to Bell Canada and they put it in their dispatching data. Or any changes or whatever, a new road, new address changes. So they hold the data. So the new agreement includes 3 significant changes, which includes the terminology, termination notice, and the term length. So this new agreement has no ending date. It's considered like a rolling term. So you have to give, so if the municipality decides for any reason that we want out of the agreement, we give them 120 days notice. If they want out, they give us notice. So it does not expire. So the annual agreement service rate is determined based on our population at 0.561 per capita, so per person. The per capita rate has not changed, only our population has increased slightly. So which represents a under $100 increase for next year. And recommendation is to enact the agreement.
Questions? No? All right, I need a mover and a seconder. Dave and Dean.
Be it resolved that bylaw 2024-42 being a bylaw to authorize an agreement with the Ontario Provincial Police for the provision of 911 primary public safety answering point services be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? Thank you. We'll move on now to 6.5.3. So we have before you an award to the contract for the wood grinding services. And I believe Mark F., who's online, will speak to it. Oh, there he is. Hi, Matt.
Hello. You can hear me well?
Yep.
Hopefully, yes, okay. So we went out to tender, which is an annual occurrence to grind the wood waste at the landfill. And we had two, the request for tender was posted on September 26th, 2024, publicly posted, and it closed on October 9th, 2024, and we received two submissions. We had 1499545 Ontario Inc. operating as Northern Bulk Logistics. The bid came in at 24,400, and we had Sittler Grinding Inc. Bid for $31,490. We have an annual budget of $30,000 for wood grinding, and it is recommended to issue the tender to the lowest bidder at 24 for Northern Bulk Logistics 1499545 Ontario Inc. for $24,400 plus applicable taxes.
Thank you. Any questions? Dave?
I don't have the same numbers on my agenda here. As
Well,
what you
the report has been modified after issuance, so we issued a revised report yesterday.
Oh, okay.
The numbers that were in the initial report did not include the mobilization costs. So that's why the numbers are a little bit different.
Okay, thank you. At first, I thought you were like, this wasn't tax and you had tax, but then you said plus HST. So, okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Thank you.
You okay? All right. I need a mover and a seconder. Dave and Dean.
I'm just readjusting the amount in the
Yeah.
resolution. Okay, so duly moved and seconded, be it resolved that council awards the contract for wood grinding services at the Nova landfill to Northern Bulk Logistics. Is that the correct? I'm just gonna verify. Northern
The-
Bulk Logistics, okay.
Yes, the correct name is 1499545 Ontario Inc. Mel.
Oh, okay. I remember it being updated. Okay, so council awards the contract for wood grinding services at the Nova landfill to 1499545 Ontario Inc. Northern Bulk Logistics for the amount of $24,400 plus applicable taxes.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. All right, so we've already done 6.6.1. There is no correspondence for us to deal with. And we are now under the consent agenda, so I need a resolution to adopt the items contained in the consent agenda. Willie and Dave? Oh, your microphone.
Thank you. Be it resolved that council approves the items of the consent agenda under section 8.1 and receives the items under section 8.2.
All those in favor? Thank you. There are no notices of motion. Okay. And we're on to announcements and inquiries. And tonight I'm going to start with Bob.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you. I haven't got much. I just want to talk to council and inform them of our senior board meetings that we've been having. As you can all see, using all our eyes, there's a lot of movement going down next door. Buildings are going up, roofs are going up, insulation, partitions, vapor barrier. Everything is moving quite well and smoothly. The outdoor colors have been chosen, and they should be starting pretty soon to go up. The indoor flooring has been chosen, and color wise, color match. And thank you to the staff for I hope. Our committee of 7 formed a focus group of 4 to go through with the help of the Holly, the manager of that will be responsible for renting, to go through the criteria of the applicants, of how they can qualify to be part of the housing. And the best news is through our construction meetings and our board meetings, we are being told they're right on schedule. We are being told also through our staff, our financial staff, that we're right on budget pretty well. So that is great news. And they told us that by the holidays, all those 3 buildings should be closed up for the winter, that they can be working inside. So basically that's it. It's all positive stuff, all good stuff going on with the buildings. That's it. Yep.
Willie?
Thank you. Friends of Mesquinonge had a meeting October 9th. There was a few things discussed. It's a park, if not many are aware, it's a park that's it's on Highway 64 and just south of Mesquinonge Road, I believe. It was very encouraging to hear that with a lot of volunteer effort that they've been reclaiming a lot of the trails, and they're making them wider, they're making them more user-friendly. They're aiming to have an all-access trail, which they're starting on. It's just an inception, but they are working, and it's well being thought out now. Okay. Also, the winner of the 50-50 draw was done. That recipient of those funds is being contacted as we speak. The Friends of Mesquinonge they wish to thank the municipality for the meeting area. We used the boardroom, and it was very, very conducive to doing, especially the online, the virtual meeting aspect of it. It really, really worked very, very well. And they want to make sure that I extended their thanks tonight. Also, in the same category, the Friends they have a Halloween trail hike, and it's an annual event. It's going to be held this year, October 20th. The hike will begin at 2 p.m., ending at 4 p.m. It's asked that you gather at Loudon Park, which is located on Highway 64 between Lavigne and Noelville, 1 kilometer south of Muskie Island Road. It is suggested that you bring a donation for use and to put back into the maintenance activities and the infrastructure. We're blessed to have such spaces that we can use, natural, relatively untouched spaces, and it would be nice to support the activities of these volunteers and the park goers. Yeah, and it's also advised for proper clothing and proper footwear. You're gonna have to gauge the weather and dress accordingly. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Dean, do you have anything to report?
Briefly, we had a great Thanksgiving weekend, kind of highlighted on Saturday with the marriage of my younger daughter. Not the first one, but anyway, it was a huge success. She was married in her house, in their new house, right on the water there, and it was mostly just immediate family, a bride and groom, and it came, but it was a big success. I guess that was really the highlight of my fall here so far. And then we had some a lot of family for Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday night, and I'm sure everybody was the same way. But other than that, I don't really have anything. The water levels are just kind of up and down a little bit. The weather is so erratic that we don't know what the heck is happening, whether we're going to get a lot of rain or not get any rain. I think the people operating the dams are trying to follow through with their usual, which is by Thanksgiving to start lowering the lake, and usually our water comes up significantly down here. So far, it's up a little bit, but not much really, and it means to see what happens with the kind of half decent weather in the immediate future. So, and not a lot of rain being called for. So, anyway, that's enough, I think. Thank you.
Okay, Dave?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay. As for me, we had a library meeting on Tuesday this week. It was interesting to see the stats from the library. They were significantly higher than regularly, but that could be attributed to the summer programming and the new programs for seniors, the agreement that they have between the library and the two seniors clubs in French River. They're off to Bala on Saturday as part of their program. And I believe there's about 39 seniors going. So it's been good. The program also brought them to North Bay to the casino where everybody made a donation. And everybody came with their pockets a little bit lighter. And there was no significant winner there. But it's impressive to see what the library is doing. The programming is changing a lot. And we're seeing more and more people accessing the library for various things, not just for books and readers, and but they're there to help the citizens of our area with some of them need help when they're trying to get a hold of the government for whatever their taxation, and having the staff there just to assist them has been good, and good for our numbers too. So I'm hoping that the relationship and the partnerships continue, because it brings a lot to our community. And I think that's all I had for me. Staff? No. Members of the public? I see one. No, you're okay. All right. There is no closed session tonight. And so I need a resolution to adopt the confirmation bylaw. Move by. Bob and Willie. You guys are bad.
So it is moved and seconded that bylaw 2024-44 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of the municipality of French River at a meeting held October 16th be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? And I think I'll hold the resolution to adjourn for another hour so that you guys can stay here for a little while longer. No problem. Okay, need a resolution to adjourn. And Dave and Willie? All those in favor? Thank you. Have a good night and a good